Welcome to 4 Idiots in the Movie. My name is Memo, your host as always. I'm here with Adrian, Nick, and a special guest of Andrew Gonzalez. Wait, do I use your full name, Andy?
You just doxed me with my name,
I know.
But yeah, go ahead, man.
Doesn't it say on Zoom too? So like,
Oh yeah, it does. It does say Andrew Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we got a great show for you guys today. We got a review of the new Brandon Cronenberg film, Possessor, Uncut. I can't tell if that's the full name or...
see, I've been looking that up, and I think that's the name. So when we went to see it, I was like, "Oh, it's uncut," but I guess
well, it had that little snippet at the beginning where it was like, "This film is uncut and it's an original version."
Oh,
maybe you remember that?
Maybe he just put out the uncut version. He said, "Fuck it."
He's like, "That's the only thing we're putting out."
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so we have Possessor Uncut, and then we have 3 movies, horror movies, or not horror movies, but 3 movies to stream for Halloween. And then after that, we have a little discussion on what the fuck even is horror. I forgot I'm not supposed to cuss on this.
We're not
podcast.
supposed to cuss?
Well, we have ads now. We have a charity ad on our thing that's supposed to come out. So I think one of the rules was we weren't supposed to cuss.
Andrew,
way to go.
I just cussed.
It's over. Bleep it out.
Okay, so Possessor, Uncut, Brandon Cronenberg's new film. It's about a agent who works for a organization that uses brain implant technology to inhibit other people's body, and he does this for jobs like things like assassinations and stuff like that. Roll the trailer.
Interface is active and we're at full power.
What's your levels this time?
You just make sure you pull the trigger on the way out.
After initial binding, you'll be locked in, with no loss of control permitted during this performance. We can't afford any mistakes on this one.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Very good.
I always forget to cut there for the trailer. So that's why I said that. Okay, stars Gabriel Graham. I'm reading this wrong. It has it as first build, and she's the first one. But it really stars Jennifer Jason Leigh.
There we go.
Oh shit.
You good, Nick?
Yeah.
Why'd you say here we go?
Oh, did you not hear the ESPN thing? Never mind.
Oh, no, I did not.
All right, okay.
Okay, we got Jennifer Jason Leigh. Why is this IMDb list all messed up?
Yeah, it's at like first build.
It's Jennifer
right?
Jason
You
Leigh,
looking for cast?
Christopher Abbott,
Yeah.
and Andrea Riseborough, I think, is the
Sean
girl.
Bean comes out.
Yeah, she's like 5th down on the list. Though.
She's the main.
Kinda
She's the main
confused.
actress.
Yeah, that's who it stars.
Yeah.
It's directed by Brandon Cronenberg and written by Brandon Cronenberg, son of infamous David Cronenberg. So, first watch. Let me get a little field for the people. What do you guys think about David Cronenberg?
Who's that? I'm just kidding. He's fantastic.
Yeah,
like him.
you guys a big fan of David Cronenberg?
I haven't seen a lot of him, honestly. So I can't really say.
I am a big fan of The Fly. I love The Fly. That's like one of my favorite movies.
I was telling Memo
of
the
all
other day
time.
too. I'm a big fan of Videodrome
His version.
and Scanners. Like those are like Fly, of course, is like
Yeah,
way
dude,
up there in
Videodrome and
his
Scanners are
filmography,
good
but,
too.
Like Scanners and Videodrome, like they just take a lot of like hot topics that like even for the time are really relevant now. and like especially Videodrome in that sense, and like that's why
Yeah.
I've always really liked what he does with what he
Videodrome.
makes, and like that body horror aspect to it is always like a nice little cherry on top. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like the Dead Zone
Nice.
too.
Yeah, I'm a big
Christopher Walken.
David
I
Cronenberg
like that
fan.
one a
From
lot too.
Scanners to Videodrome to A History of Violence to A Dangerous Mind, which is Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. I
History of
absolutely adore
Violence,
David
yeah.
Cronenberg. Probably one of the most intelligent filmmakers to ever grace cinema. I sounded so pretentious saying that. But I really do love the guy. He's a lot of fun. What's the other movie? Existence?
Something like that. The video game one.
Yeah, I love that movie when I was younger, when I was like in high school the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Just a really fun, intelligent director. You know, he always has something to say. And I've heard a lot of interviews from him. Very interesting guy. And I am glad to say the apple does not fall far from the tree with his son's new movie, Possessor. So what did you guys think of Possessor on first watch? We saw it at the Draft House, which is another thing we could probably talk about is our movie theater experience. Yeah, I know me and Adrian, it's the first time we've seen a movie
Experience.
in theaters. Andy, I know you've seen Tenet already.
Yeah. But it was.
Yeah, you
But
do
it was
look
no
at-
Alamo Draft House.
He works at
that's
one.
what I've been waiting for. Is the Alamo Draft House.
You do work at one though, so it makes sense for you to go to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I liked it a lot actually. Aside from them not having hot wings at the Alamo Draft House, which was a big concern for me, you know, it really didn't deter my experience with this film. So like, I liked all the aspects of it. I really liked the like techno horror, like thriller esque vibe that it had, especially with like all that body horror infused into it. Like you said, the apple does not fall far from the tree with Brandon Cronenberg. While this movie, I haven't seen his previous work. What was it? Antiviral? Was it that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, so I don't know if it's along the same lines as that. But there seemed to be more shock value infused into like this body horror. But that may be because we saw the uncut version, which I don't know what is the difference between the theatrical and the uncut one. But a lot of it was used as like shock value, but it didn't really deter from like the experience of what it was like talking about, because it's like it reminded me of like a really messed up version of Inception, you know, like mended with like Cronenberg-esque like thematic elements. So it really goes on the topic of like false identity and then just like detaching oneself from the truth about what they feel, like especially combined with like the aggression that both these people who are inside this body feel, and it's like it turns into like a battle of like psychological warfare between like these two characters who are trapped in that body. Did you already give a synopsis of what the movie is about?
I
Or am
did,
just-
yes. No, I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I did, yeah.
So yeah, because I don't know if I was just like saying all this stuff, but
No, you're good. Yeah, I did.
yeah, so I like how it really rode that line of like morality, like what these characters are feeling and how they are feeling each other's emotions as well as they are like fighting for control of that body, you know, and like the worst aspects of them come out as well. And are we doing spoilers? Also?
No.
No spoilers. Okay.
No spoilers, no.
So yeah, it also takes a lot the thematic elements of like guilt and like empathy, you know, just this corporate entity that they're the ones running out these like corporate hits, you know, like our main character Tasia, she is battling with like a lot of psychological stuff, especially with hers deteriorating as she does all this stuff, and becoming more of like a corporate type like slave to this organization, which I really like that element to it, and like how they're trying to just kind of like repress every emotion that she has, so she's just pretty much the perfect like hitman. And like when she's in this body with this other character Christopher Abbott, who is very fantastic in this role. They really bring out like her. What is the word? I'm sorry. Just how they are turning her into like this heartless, corporate, unfeeling like monster, kind of like Girder is the other character who works for that one as well. So there was a lot of themes that I liked about this movie. The only problem that I did really have was that it doesn't really expand on a lot of the ideas that it presents itself with, which I really wanted to see like more fleshed out, especially like some of like the technological stuff that the character Christopher Abbott plays was like working in under Sean Bean's corporation now. How a lot of it is like online, like secrecy, privacy, and stuff like that. But of course, like that was like a little side plot to it. But I would like to see more of that like fleshed out with the ideas that they had, especially like the animosity that like these us as humans have like inside of us, and like just that deteriorating relationship with her family, her mind, and stuff like that. And it was a fun experience, though. I liked the movie a lot. A lot of it is very shocking, and I feel like it was a lot to put on to that. Like I said, I don't know if it's just the uncut version that there was a lot more to it, but there is a lot that just seems a little abundant in like the gore and stuff like that. But it didn't like push anything away from my experience from that. I really liked this film. I like what it talks about. I liked the direction, the sound, just the visuals that it incorporates into it, and honestly, this is probably one of my favorite movies of the year by far. So,
Okay. Andy, Adrian, what'd you think? Not Andy, sorry. No.
yeah, dude, what do you think about
What I think about Andy?
No, don't start,
well,
please.
Nah, just kidding. Nah, I totally agree with Andy too. I like this movie a lot. There are a lot of themes in it. There are some things I got from it, and there might be some other things other people got from it. But I don't know. It goes back to how I always say, it just depends how your life experience and how you react to the emotions that a film is trying to present itself to you. And to me, I felt it. And maybe I might have been wrong with maybe the theme I was thinking about. I'm not sure, but it was really well filmed. I like the cinematography in it, and I get what you were saying, Andy, about like you want to like to see more stuff like behind like how the corporation runs and all this other shit. I totally get that, but to me, I don't know. I guess I didn't mind that. To me, I felt like having less was more. I don't know. To me, like when I just, for example, if I'm writing something like this, right, something crazy, right, I don't know. To me, sometimes like I don't even know what the fuck is behind the thing I'm writing. I don't know. Maybe he does know. Maybe Cronenberg did know what he was writing about, right? But I'm just saying, like maybe like the deeper aspect of it. Maybe he didn't really know. Maybe it was just like that's just what I thought of in my fucking head. But I thought it was great. I liked it. I think that's good though, that if you wanted more, out of it, it just makes you kind of like wonder. And I think that's good actually that you wanted that. I did want that too, but dude, the gore, the deaths, fucking hot, dude. Like I was like shit, like I don't know why, like I like shit like that, right? But when I was watching the theater at the Draft House, every time like somebody was like, getting murdered or something, I was like, God damn, like I'd be like not jumping out of my seat, but I'd be like, ooh, like I can feel that shit. Like I don't know. To me, I was like, oh, I don't know if it's because how we were hearing it in the theater or what, but it was really hot. And oh man, it was just great. It was great storytelling. It felt like I don't know. To me, it was like a sci-fi, right? But it felt like the Matrix, kind of, because like how like in the Matrix, like they go into a different world, kind of like that. How they did with their how they would put like that thing on top of their head to transmit and everything. It felt like the Matrix a little to me. So I thought it was hot, man. It was a great, I think it's considered like a sci-fi, not so crazy, right? But I think it was a hot movie. I liked the story around it. It was a great film, and I didn't know that. I thought this was David Cronenberg. I didn't know it was his son. So I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, that's not David. That's someone else. So I didn't even know that he had a son. Fuck. But shit, he's doing good, like just like his dad. So I'm excited to see more from him. And Yeah, and I like the actress. I remember her from
I did
Mandy.
not like Mandy.
I know you guys didn't like that one, but I did.
Yeah, I remember Mandy.
She was
She has a
really
very, she's
But yeah,
she's a very
those are my first
distinct
thoughts.
look.
Liked it.
You know, she plays this like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
horror movies pretty well. So Nick, what'd you think?
So I don't know if I should mention this, but I guess I kind of, since I'm nowhere near a movie theater that was showing this movie, I may have found this on an illegal website. So take that, so just keep that in mind. Keep that in
Our
mind.
sponsors. No,
But like as soon as it comes to VOD, which I think it's coming on November 1st, I'll rent it again so I could rewatch it, because I don't know if this was the uncut version or whatever. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, because I know you were talking about this. Like that's all you could see on IMDb is Possessor uncut. So I'm just like, okay, but yeah, I don't know, because like you guys are talking about the gore and stuff, and I didn't really think that this movie was that gory. I actually thought this movie was like super slow and like really subtle, and like there were like these brief moments of violence, but like they're like really far in between. Overall though, I did really like it. I did think it was really slow. I think it takes a long time before it finally starts to sort of get into it. I think the movie is really takes its time at the beginning. I think like probably for the first like 30 minutes nothing really happens. It's just all character building. I really like the world that it sets up. I really like this idea. The setup is really cool and really interesting. This is like one of the few movies that I would actually be kind of cool. I would be kind of interested to see a sequel to, because I just want to see more of the world around it and see how this works. And there are kind of like some unanswered questions that the movie leaves. So, but yeah, I would like to see kind of like a sequel here. Overall, I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as you guys. I did think it was really slow at times. And the movie is short. It's not like I think the movie drags. The movie is only like an hour 40. It doesn't feel long. It kind of just like meanders a little bit at the beginning and a little bit in the middle. Like it doesn't really know where it really wants to take it until it finally like sort of finds a stride and then like goes in a sharp direction. I love the ending. I love the sort of reveal about like what the movie is actually about. I loved all of that. And I think this isn't his first feature, but I mean, for a young director, this is like an amazing outing. So, but yeah.
Okay. So this is my favorite movie of the year. I absolutely love this movie. I've read people say that it's a little boring or that it kind of drags to the beginning. I don't personally believe so. I think the only reason it's such great world building is because of that first part where it tries to build everything that's going around with these characters and the world. I know Danny, when we watched it at the movie theater, she said that it was boring. She did not like this movie at all. So I guess there's some people that won't get that. I was never bored one bit. And so like I know, so people are going to go. So when they hear somebody like Adrian say that it was super gory and stuff, they're going to think it's like Evil Dead gore. And that's not true. It's gory because it's very quiet and it's dealing with a lot of character stuff. And then when the gore comes, it kind of just comes out of nowhere. And it like explodes in a way that you don't really expect for it to. So when one of the main characters, quote unquote, dies, it just catches you off guard. Because we were just like, I remember we were in the movie, we we're kind of entranced by the whole situation, and we're just sitting there, we're like, hey, this is pretty good. And then that happened, and we were just all like, oh shit, like we weren't expecting this at all. Yeah,
shit just got real.
So no, I absolutely adore this movie. I think the main two characters are fantastic. The main two actors, sorry. What are their names? What was the girl's name? Andrea Riseborough and Christopher Abbott. Both of them were great. Watching them like fight with each other was amazing. Mm-hmm. And then Sean Bean comes out, which which surprised the crap out of me when I saw him come out. He was also good in his role. No, I love everything about this movie. I think if there's any bad thing about the movie specifically is that there's a bunch of stuff he's looking at in this movie, and he doesn't necessarily flesh one of them out completely, which I think is fine. I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I think the movie is looking at a bunch of stuff that could happen in a world like this. And so I do agree with Nick that it would be kind of interesting to see what happens in a sequel. And yeah, I mean, I heard the Nolan comparison. Was that correct? Did I hear that earlier?
Yeah, the Inception thing.
Inception, yeah. And I don't remember if I like Inception or not. I was really young when we saw that, right? That came out when we were like still in high school, right?
Yeah, 2010, I think.
Yeah. Something I've noticed, though, going back and watching some of these Nolan films, is just how much he explains everything and how annoying it is to me.
True.
Something like this doesn't really explain much of it. So he doesn't really explain how a lot of the stuff works, how like a lot of the technology and things work. That thing that they put in the head, he doesn't really go into detail. You just kind of like, oh, I kind of get the idea of it, you know?
Yeah.
But they don't spend like a lot of time just being like, this is why this works and this molecule goes into this molecule, and it's like, and I really appreciated all that.
But like, there's a lot of cool details with that. Like she doesn't just put on the headset and then just goes in. Like there's this whole process that they have and they follow like to the T that makes it feel like super scientific. It doesn't.
But it doesn't like meander and be like, this is why
they do it. Yeah. No,
sending radio waves to the antenna down the street. It doesn't do all that bullshit.
But that's why it's super effective. They don't like sit there and tell you, but they just sort of go through the process and they show you the process, and that's why it seems like super cool without them over explaining it.
The lack of exposition in like films like this is also like a very like awesome thing, because like it just kind of sets you up to like you make it out to like interpret it yourself,
well,
and
like
kind of just piece it together, not like an interpretation, but you can understand what they're going for, and they don't have to throw it in your face like, well, this is why it's happening and this is how you do it,
There's that scene where he goes to work, and he starts like looking at drapes.
Yeah,
and I was really confused for a second.
That was really awesome.
I was like, "What is going on here?" And then I finally got it a little bit later. I was like, "Okay, that's what's happening." And there's a lot of stuff to chew on. And I think this is a movie that I don't know. I think this is meant to be viewed in a movie theater. There was something about I was thinking about like if I had to watch this at home and how like easily I'd be. I just get distracted and I won't be fully into it, kind of a thing. But there was something about being in there with the lights drawn down and just complete like a great audio system and just watching a big screen and just being like completely in the zone with this movie that really sold it for me. And I'm really happy we went to the movie theater to go see it.
Yeah.
Me too, man.
It
was the first one I saw.
I watched it on my phone, and then I put on like my noise canceling headphones. So like it was on my phone so that I wouldn't get distracted because I can't use my phone while I'm watching the movie, right? And then I put on my noise canceling headphones. But yeah, so I did my best with what I could.
The true theatrical experience right there.
Yeah, there you go.
How movies were meant to be watched.
How was the quality on your phone? Like, was it 4K or HD or anything? Or?
It was HD. There was a little bit of like artifacting and stuff, but I mean, it's too. If I had
like a legal version,
yeah. I mean, if I had the opportunity to go see this in the theaters, I mean, I would have 100% like gone. I mean, I know there was talks about like me like driving up to Austin to see it with you guys and stuff, so. I really want to see this in the theaters. I really want to watch it. I never seek out movies illegally, but I really want to see this. It has such a great trailer. It looks so interesting. So I was like, might as well.
Come up. I'm so down to watch it again.
I am. I'm down to watch it again. No, I remember, Nick, when I said it was my favorite movie you brought up, I'm thinking of Ending Things. Mm-hmm. And I just enjoyed my time way more with this movie.
Interesting.
I had so much fun during this movie.
Interesting.
There was so much to chew on, and it wasn't... I'm thinking of Anything, but that's more of a movie I like pop on when I'm feeling sad. This is a movie that I want to watch all the time,
right?
And just like chew on everything and just have fun. And it has balls. That's another thing. Like I'm thinking of Anything has balls. This has balls. I'm really excited to see what these independent. This is an independent feature. I don't know how much money it had, but I keep on reading that it was like super like relatively low budget. Yeah,
low budget. That's fucking hot.
So yeah, without getting into spoilers, we can't really say much more about it. There's a couple things, but it hasn't come out yet, so I don't want to do spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people still haven't had the chance to see it.
Is this gonna get like a wide release, or is this it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Well, like I said, I was doing research, and I think it's gonna come out on VOD on the 1st of November.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you can see it in the movie theaters, watch it in the theaters. I know some people are still worried about Corona.
Do it.
Talking a little bit about our experience going to Corona at the Draft House, it was relatively non-existent. Not that Corona was non-existent, but like we didn't really talk to other people or see anybody else really. Just like in the lobby hall whenever they were letting us in. But even then, it was because people were ordering extra stuff that we didn't have to be there for. But
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, we would have just gone straight through the movie theater and just sat down. There was nobody next to us. There was people behind us, but it was a little bit farther away. So it was I didn't feel unsafe going. You know, everybody had to wear their mask and stuff, and it seemed pretty okay to me. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but.
No, yeah, I mean it was all right. You know, it just felt fine. You know, when we went in, they checked our temps. Everyone was wearing masks, and I mean there was nobody near us. We sat in kind of like near the front too, so there wasn't really nobody in front or in back of us except like the back rows. That's when there were more people. But you know, it was pretty cool. You know, the only thing I just wish they had more food, man. Fuck. Yeah. They only had the pizza and the tenders. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, they had that limited menu thing going on. Okay, so anybody else have anything to say about Possessor? Are we cool with it?
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. I'm doing.
Well, like piggybacking on what Nick.
Piggybacking on what Nick said, Andy.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, yeah, my thing is but I can't like actually see this movie like getting a sequel, you know, and like like you don't really typically see it with like these kind of movies, but I can actually see them like exploring more into it, especially without spoilers, like what happens with these characters, and like if they were to even like do it with the same characters, I can see like another sequel being spawned out of that. Like that would be pretty cool actually. I would like that. So there's a lot to work with in this movie, I'd say.
Not to be the Debbie Downer of the group, but I don't want a sequel. I'm cool with this. I'm cool with this being it. I'm cool. Like I'm cool with this being it and him doing other stuff.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't think it would be a sequel, but I would actually not be opposed to seeing.
Maybe like a comic book. Someone should write a comic book or something about this.
I think that'd be fine.
And dude, get on it. Let's go. Let's make a graphic novel without his consent.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Cronenberg.
Let me. Okay, so according to Newsvilla,
most trusted source on the internet.
The most trusted source on the internet. Possessor Uncut comes to digital and VOD on November 6th.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. One more month.
Probably buy it at that point. This movie's so much fun to watch for me. Dude, I don't know. Yeah.
This is
I was so into it the whole time.
Movie.
Yeah. No, I just really want him to do something else. I don't think this movie necessarily needs a sequel. I like the way it ends and the kind of way it ends, and I don't have an issue with it at all. You know, leave sequels for like the Nolan types. But everybody got quiet at that point.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
He only did Batman though, right?
He's trying to stir the pot, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to stir the pot. Nobody's like taking my bait, man.
Yeah, we know.
No, that's cool. I mean, I like Nolan, but you know,
leave the sequels for the superhero movies.
What does Nolan
you know?
have to do with this movie?
Yeah.
I said
you're the one who brought him up, Andy.
Yeah, you're the one that brought him up, Andy. What are you talking about?
I said the general theme, it was like an Inception. Like, I didn't say it was like a Nolan movie, but I guess.
I know.
We're going to just throw some hands.
You know, Nolan did make Inception.
I think Memo just doesn't really like
That's not true. That's not true at all.
Memo, that's not true.
Nah, Nolan's kind of a dick.
You met him, dude?
You're too highbrow. This man.
Hey, so we're gonna go watch Tenet?
I have no interest in seeing that anymore.
Wow.
Everybody who I hear talk about it, it's always like, yeah, it's good, but I didn't really know what was going on half the time.
I didn't get
watch
it.
That's
I didn't get it. And it keeps on going like back. I think like, okay, if I'm going to the movie theater, what am I willing to get Corona for? Teneting it.
Yeah.
But
you're
I'll
right.
Possessor, hell
I'll wait.
yeah.
It's not it. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
possess me,
Possess me,
Corona. I'll see
Corona.
Possessor for you.
All right. So ratings across the board. Adrian, out of 5.
Wait,
out of 5.
I'm going
It's always
out
out
of
of 5,
5?
bro.
Yeah, dude. I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5, man.
Interesting. Andy?
Honestly, dude, I hated this movie. I'm gonna give it 0 out of 5. I am just kidding. No. I would give it a probably a 4 out of 5.
Okay. Nick?
It's somewhere between a 3 and a 3.5 for me. I'll go with 3.5 just so I don't piss you guys off too much. But
Yeah, I know.
you
Right?
guys-
It's just Memo.
It's just Memo you're gonna piss off, bro.
okay.
It's because you watched it on the
Nah,
phone
you're right.
in the
I'll
middle
put
of
it
his
on a.
room.
You're right, Adrian. It's a 3.
You
It's a
what?
3 for me.
A 3?
Just to get him mad.
This is
I'm just kidding.
blasphemy.
It's a 3.5. It's a
Oh,
3.5.
that feels way better. You watched it in the legal version in his phone in the middle of the night.
I'm saying so. Maybe you
Right
shouldn't
last
trust my
night
opinion.
when he was half tired.
I wasn't that half tired.
He was tired.
I wasn't tired.
He was tired.
It was 11 when I started watching it. What are you talking about?
So
Memo, he was
take
tired.
his review with the
Woke
grain
up
of
the
salt.
beast in Memo, dude.
I know,
No,
dude.
he's mad memo now, guys.
It's a 4.5 out of 5.
Jeez.
Easy.
That's hot, dude.
Easy money. Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what he does next. I don't remember. So it's been a while since Antiviral came out. Did any of you guys see that movie?
Have
Nope.
not seen it.
I have not.
I have not.
Is it? They came out in 2012.
Yeah,
right?
2012.
Or what?
Yeah,
Yep.
It's been a couple years. I guess a movie like this takes a while though to kind of like flesh out and get all the money for it.
Of course.
So I'm
yeah.
excited to.
If it was independent, yeah.
I'm calling it. He'll probably go to like something like TV Next or something. You know, because that's where most of these guys go to now. It's just a lot easier to get TV stuff done.
It is true.
But I am super excited to see what Brandon Cronenberg does next. Okay, so moving on to our list of top 3 movies to watch during Halloween. These can be. We wanted to keep it mostly streaming wise versus like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, Pluto TV, Vudu TV, IMDb TV, Spectrum, any TV.
I hope Shudder is on there because 2 of mine are from Shudder.
Oh, Shudder. I got one from Criterion, and then I have one you could just get VOD. But we try to keep it mostly just free to stream. Let's see.
I got on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first to make sure that nobody steals my movies.
Go ahead.
Because I don't know what your all's lists are, so we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to go with Southbound. I just watched this one recently. I don't know why I did, but I did. No, I did. I steal
No,
someone?
you didn't. I had just posted about that yesterday, though.
Don't worry about it.
So I got Southbound. It's on Amazon Prime Video right now. I had heard a little bit about this. I know Your Movie Suck put it on his best of 2015. It was like super high up, but like it was like number 35 or something. But 35 out of 40 of 2015 isn't bad. It's an anthology movie that takes place at the same location. It's like this sort of rural Arizona desert town, ghost town place. And the interesting thing about this one is that all of the little vignettes all tie together in some way. And it's all by this highway southbound that has no markings or anything. And people mysteriously end up on it and they have to try to escape or get out. And some of them do and some of them don't. It's a really sort of like, it's just sort of a cool idea. And it takes a little bit more effort to create all these little vignettes and also tie them together. It also has David Bruckner as one of the directors of one of these little shorts. He did like The Ritual. He also did a lot on VHS. And he has a new movie that I really want to watch called The Night House. I hear it's amazing. So yeah, and so there's some talent here. There's some really cool little stories going on. I really liked it. I really enjoyed myself. And also David Bruckner directs the best little short story in this. It's the I guess I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's It's the phone call
That
operator
one's so
one.
good.
That one's the best. That one's so good. That one's really awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really like this. And I also I have an affinity for these types of movies, especially around Halloween time. These anthology movies, yeah.
This and like VHS and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, VHS.
All right. Fuck it. I'll go next. I got an OD for you because
Give me it. Give it to me.
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's fucking hot, dude.
I rewatched this like 4 days ago, and I had forgotten how much I actually adore this movie. I was kind of worried it was going to be a little dated because it came out in 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper. Nobody's going to help me?
You're on the right
No, I'm
track.
Pretty sure
Fine.
it's just Todd Hooper.
You're on the right
Tobe
track,
Hooper.
dude.
It's Tobe.
Yeah.
Tobe Hooper, probably. Yeah.
Toby?
Tobe Hooper. It's a classic. There's so many fun things happening in this. It has that old 70s vibe to it.
Yeah.
From like the graininess to the thing to like the really, it's a super low budget film. So there's like a lot of like really, like it adds to it. It's like the same way Evil Dead, the first one, adds to that whole effect, of it being super low budget. So it adds to the creepiness of it. There's not like necessarily great acting here or anything besides by the family. I think they pulled off their like creepiness.
Yeah.
But it's extremely depraved. It's something that comes from the 70s. And it's just a fucking great time. The ending shot will be infamous as always. I don't know. I'm pretty sure most people have seen that already, right?
Yeah.
Because like she's screaming in the background. And there's some problems with it, of course, because it's an independent film. The characters or whatever. But it's so much fun. It is such a fucking good time seeing these. It sounds weird seeing these teenage kids get like completely demolished. And I know like back then it was probably like the most terrifying thing in the world. And I don't necessarily get scared during scary movies at all. So I just like the depraved stuff that horror movies can bring, or some of the psychology stuff. This is the depraved side of it, and it isn't depraved like Hostel or Saw, where like its only thing is just pure like gore and effects. This is a lot more fun stuff happening here than just I want to chop people in half kind of a thing. So yeah, no, it's a classic. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. And then you could drive up over here to near Austin and go to that barbecue place.
It's in Bastrop, bro.
Yeah, it's near Austin.
The gas station.
Nobody knows where Bastrop is. That's what I'm like near Austin.
Well, I mean, it's Austin, yeah.
Near Austin, like 30
Near
minutes from Austin. So yeah, I absolutely adore it. It's available right now on Criterion Channel.
That's hot,
which is
dude.
a streaming service for Criterion Collection. And actually, I have a plug, and I'm giving everybody 25 movies to stream, actually, because Criterion Collection came out with the 70s horror collection.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It has great movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Season of the Witch, Don't Look Now, the Nicholas Roeg film, which inspired Hereditary.
Yeah,
That's
Don't
hot,
Look Now is amazing.
It has
great
Sisters
movie.
from De Palma, which is fucking fun.
What?
Has The Wicker Man, which inspired Midsummer. Again, Ari Aster steals a lot from movies. Crazies from George A. Romero. And it has like Black Christmas. It has Shivers, again from the Cronenberg side. And it's just it has The Driller Killer, which everybody needs to watch.
The Driller Killer?
Yes, trust me. The Driller Killer, dude.
I want to watch that. Sounds cool.
It is such a great collection on the Criterion Channel, and people should subscribe to it because the Criterion Channel is fantastic. And thank you for sponsoring us, Criterion Channel. Love you.
Dude, they're sponsoring us, dude?
No, they're not. They're not. But
Oh.
I thought that was our sponsor. I was like, wow, we made
No.
it big.
Wow,
but
dude,
they
let's
should-
do it. Nick, he made it big.
I know. Way to ruin our day. Gosh. Super happy.
that's available there. I think it's available on like Hulu or HBO or something like that too. But I would watch it at Criterion Channel. Andy, your movie? Andy's frozen. Adrian, your movie?
My movie. Yes. So all my movies today are from Netflix. I am not sponsored. So the first movie I have is A House of a Thousand Corpse by Rob Zombie. I remember watching this as a kid and being super freaked out. But then as I watched it when I was older, I was like, man, this is some hardcore shit. I don't know. I like Rob Zombie's stuff. I did like his Halloween version. Maybe not part 2, but I like Rob Zombie's movies. I like, The Devil's Rejects. I haven't seen Three from Hell, but House of a Thousand Corpse was, just how it looks. It looks so like, I don't know, if I was in that situation, I'd be scared as fuck too. So that's for me. That's what horror is to me. Like shit that's gonna like really like scare you or freak you the fuck out. I don't know, shit that what would you do if you were in that situation kind of thing. But I have fun with House of a Thousand Corpse now. I like how it looks so heavy, and yeah, I like it's on Netflix. Came out in 2003.
It's a prequel to Devil's Rejects, right?
Yeah, it's a prequel to Devil's Rejects. Yeah, so it's a fun movie. It's on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before. Shout out to Vince Martinez. He's a big Captain Spaulding fan.
He is a big Captain Spaulding fan. I have seen it. I don't remember it super well. I love Devil's Rejects a lot, though.
Yeah, that one's fun.
I haven't seen Three from Hell either, but no, I don't remember this movie super. Is there a bunny? They kill a bunny at one point.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's in this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I remember for the bunny killing scene.
It's pretty hardcore.
Andy, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry.
Now you can tell us your movie.
What's your
My movie. Are we doing 3 of them or is it just one?
I did 3. We're doing 3, but I literally just did like 27.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, one of them for mine is going to be Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's 2005, directed by Eli Craig. It's a really funny satire movie in the same vein of like The Cabin in the Woods, And it's a really campy and like a fun take on like horror tropes and all that good stuff, like on the surface level. But it actually is like a pretty well written and like well casted movie as well. And it's just like a satire on like political misunderstandings and then just like lack of communication and then just like prejudice and stuff like that. But it turns out to be a really fun movie. And you have what's his name, Alan Tudyk is in it as well. And yeah, he's fantastic. Amazing. And then Tyler Labine is Dale, and like they just have great, like fantastic chemistry together. So it's a really fun movie. It's a great satire, a horror satire as well. So
is it available?
Last time I checked, it's on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there because I know they took it off for a while, but I think it's back on there.
So, okay, yeah. I think we could all
like that movie.
Yeah,
actually.
dude.
Yeah,
it's fun
great.
as fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I got a question. Do you like this one better than Cabin in the Woods?
Hold on, wait. Speaking of Cabin in the
his?
Woods,
Oh, no.
is my next movie to pick
That was
off
actually
of.
my next movie too. Yeah, just kidding.
Oh well. Okay. Wait, yeah. So we could talk about Cabin in the Woods right now. Yeah, I picked Cabin in the Woods because I thought, if you ever get tired of, the boring slasher movies that I'm sure everyone's going to watch this season, your Friday the 13th, all like 47 of them, and then all 47 of the Halloween movies, and you want to like sort of kick back and like get like a deconstruction of the horror movie genre, you have Cabin in the Woods here. And I really love Cabin in the Woods. As far as whether or not is it better or worse than Tucker and Dale versus Evil, they're different. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is more of a straight-up comedy, and then Cabin in the Woods is more of a horror movie. It tries to be a little bit more subtle with what it's trying to say. However, I would say that Cabin in the Woods is a lot better. After watching them both recently, I'm like, yeah, Cabin in the Woods is just way better made, and it's just a lot better written. That doesn't mean that it's like... I mean, it's hard to sort of say because they're sort of different. But yeah, I think Cabin in the Woods is a little bit better. But I love them both. They're both great. Yeah.
They live in the same space in my head, honestly. I get them confused all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Cabin in the Woods is Josh Whedon,
right? He wrote it. But it's directed by Drew Goddard.
Drew Goddard. Why does the name so familiar?
He did.
Oh, he made Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, didn't he?
No, that's Michael Gordy.
Oh, okay.
He did Bad Times at the Al Royale.
Oh, gross.
Oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Adrian, are you looking for movies to stream?
No, bro.
Just like shifting to Netflix in the
background. But yeah,
let's check it out.
Cabin in the Woods is great. So watch Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and then watch Cabin in the Woods.
I think that
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods is on Netflix too right
Yeah.
now too. So
Yeah, it's on like everything. It's on
on
Hulu. It's on
Prime,
Amazon
everything.
Prime. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, they're both a lot of fun. That's definitely a movie that like uses like palate cleansers
yeah.
during like the middle of like all those other movies that Nick said. So yeah. Okay, my second movie is Let the Right One In, the original Swedish version, which I believe I've actually put on a list like this before on like an old version of our podcast.
Maybe.
It's a Swedish film. It's about a
So
bullied boy.
it gets free healthcare.
It gets free. Yeah, actually, free healthcare might be great for this movie. It's about a bully boy who finds a friendship through a weird girl in his apartment complex. It's a gothic thriller, I would say, and it is a horror movie, but it's more like a gothic thriller. And I think the movie. So I know there's like this weird thing with horror movies where we'll put a capstone, or not a capstone, but we'll put like a little thing on horror movies and be like, yeah, it's probably not a good horror. It's not probably not a good movie, but it's a good horror movie. You know, this is a really great movie. This is an amazing film, and there's so much going on in this movie, and there's such great things in this movie. The atmosphere is amazing. The actors are fantastic. The story is great, and it's also scary. You know, it has the horror thing going to it. I don't want to get super into it. People who have not seen it, watch the original. Do not watch the American. I haven't seen the American one, but it's just more of like the original is the one that I'm recommending.
I've heard that the American one isn't
It's actually a
that
decent
bad.
remake. It's not anywhere close to the original one, but it's still
Yeah.
a pretty good one. I will say.
Yeah,
In my
but
It was-
watch.
It's a
They have
movie
like different
that should
titles though,
have been
don't they?
This is Let the Right One In. The American one's like Let Them In.
Or something
them
like that,
in.
right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I always get confused because I'm like, is it a remake or is it just because normally when remakes happen, they just take the same title, but this one didn't. It has like this weird other title. I don't know. So
Yeah. Well, I think this movie's a little bit more well known than other remakes of like foreign
Yeah.
films. I think that's why they did
Sure.
that. I don't understand why this movie was remade. It makes no sense to
American
me.
cinema.
It came out in 2008. I mean, people love the movie. I really didn't understand. Like, I get why other movies are remade. Same thing with The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. I didn't understand why that was remade.
yeah,
You know, it's a fairly recent film, but whatever. This one's a great movie. Watch this one. It's available on Hulu to stream for free. So if you have Hulu, check this one out for sure. Put it on there. And again, another palate cleanser in between all the slasher films that you probably see all over the place. Not there's anything wrong with them. I almost put Halloween, all of them, on my list. But
I
yeah,
think-
that's probably what most people see. So when you're done with those, watch like Let the Right One In and then
Yeah.
watch something else. Yeah. Adrian?
Oh yes, for me, my next movie coming from Netflix is Poltergeist. Poltergeist, which came out.
wait, Netflix, the one that's right behind you? Adrian? That
no.
app?
Poltergeist, 1982. Oh shit, I like Poltergeist a lot. It's a fun movie, and I like the interesting background story to Poltergeist. You know how I think on Shudder they have that show where like haunted films where like crazy stuff would happen on set, and like for Poltergeist that was the case because I forgot where it was, like in that scene where the house is falling apart and like the bodies are there. They're skeletons. Like the story is like they're real like bodies, like real skeletons, but like the actors didn't know and shit. But besides the point, Poltergeist is a fun movie. It's a story about a house being like haunted because it was built on top of a cemetery. Go figure, right? And it's a fun movie, and I like it. I liked it growing up. I know they made more Poltergeist after this one too, and people like those too. But the original is always it's a classic, and I think a lot of people know it. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's a
I
fun
have
little movie.
never seen
You
it.
never seen Poltergeist, bro? It's a fun movie.
Directed by Toby Hooper, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
It is.
And it's written by Steven Spielberg.
yeah, there
Yep.
we go. Yeah.
Written and produced. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I think it's great for like being a 1982 film.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's also rated PG.
Yeah.
it's,
so
it's not. There's like someone that peels off their face and stuff. It's
I
not
know.
a PG movie.
I don't know.
It's not
Ratings
PG.
back then, man, it was like more,
Jaws was PG, dude. It was insane.
you could get away with a lot of
know.
shit back then.
as long as it wasn't sex.
Romeo and
Yeah,
Juliet. What
yeah.
you
Yeah.
talking about?
Dude, tits came out in like PG-13 films and PG-G. No, I'm just kidding, not G.
But but Adrian brings up an interesting point. I kind of want to have like a topic like this while we're during this Halloween month of just like cursed movies or like cursed things that happen in movies. Because yeah, like I don't know the full story because I don't have the whole stories in front of me, or like horrible deaths that happen on movie sets. But yeah, this is like one of those movies where like all the cast members, like a bunch of them died in weird circumstances after
Yeah,
filming
actually,
it.
I watched that episode.
You know, like it's just really awkward. Yeah. So it's a topic that we should do because it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of movies like this.
Yeah.
This one and
So,
The
yeah.
Exorcist are insane. Like the stories behind them, like I didn't even know about
The
it. It's
episodes?
like,
Yeah.
I was watching that series. It's a good series, by the way. You should watch it. It's on Shudder.
It's called Cursed Films, right?
Yeah. I've only seen those 2 episodes, and
Yeah.
it's like Jesus Christ.
Dude.
Well, I'll tell you something on the recording of Mask. I really thought Jared was going to kill me.
All that repression, dude.
Yeah.
Cursed short films.
Anyways,
Cursed
short films from the Weird Fish.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so for my last movie.
I didn't even go.
Wait,
dude.
no.
Thanks a lot, man.
Nick, did you go?
Yeah,
I know,
okay.
it's
I
that's
know,
fine.
you just
skipping
skipped
people.
Andy.
I'm sorry, Andy.
You know what,
Go
I
ahead.
don't
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andy. I got confused
All right.
for a second.
I'm going
Go
to take
ahead,
us
you
back
go.
to the golden age of horror, 1982, the Slumber Party Massacre. So this is like a...
That's hot, dude.
This is like...
Yeah.
This is just my sleazy, cheesy, like, go-to slasher film, you know? It's just such a classic. And it's kind of dated, I will say that. There's a lot of nudity in this, if you're not a fan of nudity. I heard that this movie actually had to meet like a quota to get made for like nudity. So I don't know if you've ever seen like that shower scene in it where it just like is extremely long and just like there's no really point to it at all. But it was because like Roger Corman like told the director, hey, you have to meet this quota and I'll fund this movie, which is kind of fucked up. But besides that, the movie is like it's a pretty good movie. It's like a cheesy, like everything 80s.
Besides the
Yeah, and
sexy
it's like
stuff.
a metaphor also on like becoming a woman, you know. Like the killer uses a drill, which kind of like symbolizes a phallic type symbol. Like, trust me, this is a real type thing. Like, I actually like did research on this. But yeah, that's like the actual theme of the movie. It's like becoming a woman and all that stuff.
So
it's
phallic.
sad, right? But it was directed by a female as well, which is pretty cool from like the 80s, like for that type of horror movie. It's not extremely gory. It was like pretty tame for like those 80s slasher film, but like an 80s type slasher film, but it's like it's a classic. The cinematography is actually really good. I like the aesthetic of this movie because it's like kind of lower budgeted too, but it just looks so like crisp. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a nice looking film. So that is my second choice for you.
And there's a bunch of them.
I think there's like 2 more, and they start embracing more of like a crazier type tone to it, kind of like the Chainsaw Massacre. Like with the second one, it just went in a whole different direction. Like
Yeah.
but they're still fun to watch. That whole series is actually a good one, but the first one is always going to be my favorite.
Well, they're showing this at the Draft House.
Yeah,
Maybe
dude,
we'll
that's
go
also
watch it
what
then.
They are
got
showing
me
it at the Draft
reminded about
House.
this.
Wait. So you wouldn't get Corona for Tenet, but you would get it for Slumber Party?
Hell yeah!
I want to have a good time, man. I want a confusing time.
Yeah, I want to have a really good time, dude.
Just wanted to get that on record.
You go to Tenet, spend 2 hours watching Nolan just like masturbate in front of himself.
I
I'd
know.
rather go see
Everyone says
this.
that for
And
every
and
pretentious
have
movie,
yourself
dude.
masturbate in front of it. Wait, what?
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 The
Anyway, who's next?
Memo
On
likes
to me,
masturbating in
right?
front of movies is what we're trying to get at.
Nick, you're next. Oh my god, it's supposed to be PG.
Adrian's been cussing this
movie.
entire
Oh
time,
no.
dude.
We're gonna put a lot of bleeps on this memo.
Nick,
Okay.
your movie.
Okay. See, I had like a bunch of backup movies just in case like someone took
Dude,
my
you don't take
movie.
your movies, bro?
Nah, but I had like a bunch on standby. But I'm like, oh, now I don't know which one to pick from these. You know what? I'm gonna go with tried and true. I'm gonna go. I don't think you could stream this anywhere, but it's well worth the rent, especially for Halloween. And that's Trick or Treat. It's another anthology movie, and I watched this. I rewatched this recently. It's not as good as the first time I watched it, The first time I watched it, I had such a great time. It's such like it's just a lot of fun. This last time I was like, okay, like the novelty sort of wear it off. But this movie gets Halloween, the atmosphere around it so right. Just the feeling, the whole festival going on, like everyone talking about Halloween, the whole tone of it is just like the atmosphere is just so perfect, and it just matches Halloween perfectly. So I always recommend it, even though I know it's not the most amazing movie, but like it just gets it perfect. It's another anthology movie. And they kind of tie together. They're all in the same town, and then some of them do sort of cross over. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Really interesting. Yeah, I would check it out. It's still worth a watch. It's still well worth a watch. You know?
Definitely
Oh
worth the
yeah,
rent.
dude.
Yeah, definitely. And they're working on a sequel for it. I think it's due for a 2021 release. Let
I
me
think
see.
it's 2022 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the sequel. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it doesn't have a date. The director, Michael Daughtry, he went on to make some other like pretty interesting stuff. He made the Krampus movie, which I hear is really good, and then he made Godzilla King of the Monsters, and he's also doing Godzilla versus Kong. So he went on to do like all these sort of big budget Hollywood things, and he's still working on Trick or Treat too. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. He also wrote X2 X-Men United
Yeah, and Dark Phoenix. But we won't
Oh
talk
God,
about
he
that.
did Dark
and
Phoenix
Superman Returns.
and Superman. Oh shit.
Yeah, Superman
Yeah,
Returns.
yeah, we won't
It's
we
funny
won't
that
talk
you
about
brought
that.
those two
We
movies up,
won't
Nick,
talk
because
about
I had
that.
tweeted about those yesterday on my Rambunctious Raccoon page. Go follow it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
plug,
you're the famous
yeah.
rambunctious
No, but yeah, I was
raccoon
actually talking about
page,
those,
the page
those
that
are
I'm
two of my
totally
favorite, like,
following.
anthology movies, like, for sure.
Oh really?
Southbound, I love
Southbound and
I like how these two movies like
yeah.
intertwine all their stories like so flawlessly.
Yeah.
And it's not like a
I-
like, you know, when you can tell like different directors directed like segments and stuff, like where it's just like that. This one ties in so like flawlessly.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I do think, I will say that I think, now I've only seen Southbound once. I watched it like a week ago. But I think Southbound is better than Trick or Treat. But Trick or Treat is just a way better Halloween
Yeah.
movie.
Trick or
I
Treat
think.
feels more like
But yeah.
campier, also like in a good type of
Yeah,
way.
yeah, it
And,
does.
Like while I see
Yeah.
Southbound as more of like a darker and like grittier, like, oh, we're in purgatory, get out of
Yeah.
hell type thing, you know. So
Yeah.
but both of them have like they're fantastic anthologies. I love them.
I like Trick or Treat.
Yep.
Also,
Yeah. Trick or Treat.
Krampus.
Yeah,
And
I
then
actually
and
own it.
and anthology movies could go so bad. I don't know if you guys have seen like ABC's
Oh,
or
gosh.
Death or that Double X
Yeah.
movie. They could go so wrong, you know. But yeah. So these are two like really good ones.
What's pretty interesting for Trick or Treat because it's all made
Yeah.
by him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's all him.
Yeah. Usually anthologies are made by like different
Yeah.
people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they feel so off some most of the time.
different like styles and themes.
Different-
Yeah.
Yeah, different tones, and they want to hit. Yeah, I think about like the ABCs of Death, which they're just completely different directors, and it just feels
It's
off
so
the whole
weird.
time.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we watched that movie together and we are all tripping out at the what is it, F is for farts or whatever?
I was like, what the
Yeah.
What is going on?
fuck?
Yeah.
You could have came up with so much stuff with the letter F, and
Yeah.
like, who the fuck wrote that?
That's so great.
Yeah. Okay, so for my last movie, it's a 1997 anime film called
Fuck
Perfect
me.
Blue.
Oh, you took mine, Memo.
Oh, yes, yours? Oh, yeah. Dude. Directed by Satoshi Kon, which is a famous director, anime director. He also made Paprika, and I'm forgetting the other movie. It's like the Godfather
Death
movie
Note.
for them. No, Tokyo Godfathers, which is fantastic as well. Both of them are fantastic. But I wanted to go with Perfect Blue, which is probably the best horror anime I've ever seen. It's about and it was an inspiration for Black Swan, Darren Aronofsky's film. It's about a pop singer who gives up her career as like a pop idol to become an actress, and she slowly begins to lose her mind the more and more she tries to be an actress, and she realizes like she starts doing like terrible scenes, and she becomes more and more entranced in that, and she just starts to slowly lose her mind and try to like her past is coming at her. Meanwhile, there's like this really, dude, one of like the coolest, creepiest guys ever to grace an animated film in this movie, but I even think he's even more creepy than like people in like real life. Like when I think of like serial killers and people like villains in horror movies, he's probably the creepiest guy I've ever seen in a movie. The first time he pops up, you're like, God, what is up with this guy right here? It is fantastic. The whole movie is great from the beginning to the end. It does a really good job of like kind of gaslighting you. You never really know what the hell is going on, like what's real and what isn't. And as she's slowly losing her like insanity, you're slowly going into that as well. There's a twist near the end, sort of, and a lot of people take that on at the surface level, and I think you're not supposed to. But the interesting thing about this film is how easily you can do that. So that is.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No, keep going. It's good.
But everything is beautiful in this film. The way it's drawn, it holds up to this day. There's scenes in it. We were talking earlier about the Cronenberg Nolan stuff, where like Nolan just like says everything constantly. This movie does a really good job of showing, not telling. There'll be like, and I guess you could do this a lot more in anime films, where you can like actually show somebody like hopping street lamps in the middle of the street. But it's absolutely beautiful. This is actually cracked my top 10 movies of all time. And I just absolutely adore this film. It is such a good horror film.
Can you watch it anywhere right now, or you have to rent it?
You have to rent it. It's about $2 every.
But it's usually anywhere, like Prime.
You can watch it Prime, Vudu. Okay. I watched it on Vudu. But it is such a good time. I absolutely recommend this movie. I fucking love it so much.
I see. I kind of want to watch that now.
That's my movie.
I like animated shit.
Adrian, your last movie, right?
Last movie from Netflix as well. It's another classic. It's from 1981. The Evil Dead, the original. It's on Netflix now. They put a bunch of movies on Netflix now, I guess, because now it's October and stuff. And I love The Evil Dead. I saw this as a kid and I loved it, and I even loved Part 2 and Army of Darkness, and I really got into Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell when I got into my Evil Dead phase, and I was happy when they made the show too. But the original The Evil Dead, it was like super low budget, and after I've gone to a panel where Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell were there live talking about it, and when they were talking about how they were making this film, it just reminded me of like, just how we try to make films and shit, and how sometimes things don't go right and you have to do crazy shit, and with the whole the shot of like the entity like chasing you and stuff, how they're like, we didn't have a budget to make like a monster, so we're like, why don't we just do that? And look, it's so iconic now, and I love that movie so much. It's one of my favorites of all time. And yeah, The Evil Dead. I don't know if you guys like that movie, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell.
It's
hot, dude.
Movie of all time.
Oh yeah, Memo made a short film one time kind of doing that too. I remember that. With Nick, dude?
Yeah,
Greasy.
Oh yeah? No. I don't know what you're talking about.
If anybody wants to see that, I'll link
drop
it to
that
it.
link.
I know where it's at. I know exactly where it's at. Still on
Dude, Memo's a
YouTube.
poster, dude.
I do. It's called You're It. Just look up You're It.
Oh gosh.
Dude, Nick's a star, dude.
The star.
You're It. Seize the Day Productions. Look that up and it'll come up. I should remember which group it was, but yeah, look that shit up. It's so great. Well, it's not great. I hate it. But it's interesting.
It's not great. I hate it.
I know. I only act in it. Who's the one who made it?
Dang, dude.
Yeah, but Nick's the star. Nick's the star.
Oh really? I'm the star.
Yeah, Nick's always the star.
I always think it's the director that's the star.
Nah,
the one
Andy.
that's.
You burned that real fast.
All right, that was Adrian's last movie. He has Somewhere to Be. So we will see you off.
All right, man.
Adrian. See
Thanks,
you next
guys.
week.
Appreciate
See
it.
you
Bye,
later,
Adrian.
man.
Later, man.
Here's Adrian. All right, Andy. What's
My
your
last movie is 2017's Revenge.
I like that.
Oh,
movie.
you took it.
Dude,
You took mine.
okay, I love Revenge. It's directed by Adrian's gone. All right, it's directed by a French female director. I believe her name is something with a C. Caroline.
Here we go.
Something. Yes.
You got this.
But yeah, it's a revenge flick, obviously, and it's like a twist on like that whole rape revenge type, like I Spit on Your Grave or The Last House on like the Left type film. And this movie is like insanely stylish, insanely bloody, and it's like a really brutal like genre film. It's kind of like a mixture of like Rambo and freaking Kill Bill with like some Last House on the Left like themes in there. But the main actress Matilda Ann Lutz is fantastic in it. The movie is very like aesthetically pleasing, and like the color palette is so like vibrant and just beautiful, and the score is really good too. But it's a fantastic revenge film, extremely bloody, and it's kind of campy too. Like there's some aspects that like it feels like a really high end like B movie, but it's so great. Everyone associated in the movie is fantastic, and I would recommend this one 100%. It's on Shudder, by the way, too. Shudder has some pretty good films.
Okay. I've never seen this movie. I have heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it too. I've actually been really interested to
You
watch
should
it.
check it out when you get the chance.
I've
I think you would
never
actually like
seen
it a
it.
lot.
Cool.
Nick, your last movie?
I thought I already gave my last movie.
Is it not you first or you
first.
last?
I was first.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I guess we're done with 3 movies to stream.
I mean, have honorable mentions, but you know.
Yeah. Okay. Now we did it. Yeah. 3 horror movies. 3 movies to stream for Halloween. There you go for your entertainment. And yeah. Now to our last discussion, and we'll wrap this up pretty quickly because I got to go do stuff. I just want to get a general concept of what the hell this is, because we're going to be talking about horror movies a lot during this month. What exactly is horror?
You know it when you see it, you know.
Horror's when it goes boo. Just kidding. There we go.
All right.
So
then.
look. My 2 honorable mentions were It Comes at Night and The Invitation, and it's like The Invitation is like way more of a horror movie than It Comes at Night, but it's like those are movies that are kind of on the line of just like, is this really a horror movie? You know. So like.
Well, like
I don't know.
Revenge. When you said Revenge, I didn't know if that was a horror. I always thought it was like an
I thought
action
that
thriller movie.
I thought that too.
But I'm looking at the IMDb page and it's listed as horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my question. It's like,
you have a
what is
lot. You have a
horror?
lot of movies like that too. Like you have like I Spit on Your Grave and like Last House on the Left and stuff like that, which are like, I guess they're not really slasher horror movies or anything like that, but you know,
The topics that they,
I guess-
the topics
I
and
guess
themes that they like
yeah,
divulge
not-
in is like horror, you know. So
Mhm.
Not to attack Andy's last pick, but like Revenge struck me more as like an action movie.
yeah, or like a
versus,
thriller.
Versus like last. You good, Nick? Versus like
I dropped something. My bad.
Last House on the Left and like I Spit on Your Grave just do strike me as more of like a horror film.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Revenge. It's just like on pure like when I saw the
Watch
trailer
it.
kind of a thing.
just kidding.
But I don't know. I guess like
Like
if I had to
is
give a definition for
is Possessor a horror movie?
Exactly.
no. Well, it's a sci-fi
Sci-fi
film.
horror.
Yeah, but there could be sci-fi horror.
There's definitely horror
Yeah,
aspects to it.
but I don't think it's a horror film. Yeah, but I didn't think it was a horror film. I think a sci-fi horror is more like The Thing
Or Alien
or Alien. Yeah.
is excuse me. Ugh, sorry. Okay, is I'm Thinking of Ending Things a horror movie?
No.
You see,
It's an
I think
extensive
that
drama.
also goes into what we're talking about, like what is horror. Like we associate
yeah.
horror with a lot of like creatures that like we see as like inhumane or like ungodly as like a creature type thing, but also horror comes from like, let's say these slashers that like these inhuman like slashers like people, you know, it's just like their motives and why they do that, like that makes them a monster, you know, not like just like physical creature type like things, but it's just like that intrigue.
Yeah. See, I think of horror. I think if I had to give a simple definition for horror, it'd be anything that elicits fear.
Yeah.
Damn it! You took it. You googled it,
'cause I
didn't you?
saw that.
No.
Oh, really? Okay. I just googled it and I was like, it's like a horror film is one that seeks to elicit fear, like word for word. I was like,
I don't know. Maybe
But-
it's
but
like
you know what,
I'm
that's-
thinking of
that's-
anything where I've read it before. It's
yeah,
just-
maybe no, but
What's an original
but
thought
that's
in-
actually like a great way to put it.
Yeah, I think that's why like I'm thinking of anything isn't a horror movie because its purpose I don't think is to elicit fear. I mean, he even says so himself. He's like, I don't think I'm mean to like scare anybody. It's just that when you have these emotions, sometimes it could be a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's the biggest difference, and that's the same thing with Possessor. I don't think Possessor's meant to like make you fearful or anything.
It made me fearful, to be honest.
I think that's the main difference.
Yeah, dude.
Did it?
Just like the thought of that happening, like the control over like a body like that, and just like fighting over your own conscience and like all that kind of stuff. Like, it was pretty terrifying to me. I don't know. That's just my take on that.
See, I didn't feel like he was trying to scare.
I don't think
anybody,
it was
or,
like
trying to like elicit fear or something
illicitly
like
trying
that.
to like get that fear out of you. It was more like, I would say, like a thriller type thing as well, like sci-fi thriller, you know. But there's like
It was a
horror
sci-fi
aspects
thriller,
that you
yeah.
can say
Well-
are associated with it.
Well, and I think horror it just encompasses so much. Like, I mean, we're talking like there's sci-fi horror, there's slasher films, there's all these different like types of horror, and it seems to be way more broad than even like drama or something, you know? Like
Well, like every
it
horror
encompasses
film
so
has
much.
drama in it.
Well,
You know, like I mean, I don't know. I think it's like a weird thing where we just try to like, I don't know. I think it's because horror is always brought on with like slasher films. That's why we have such an issue bottling it down to like an actual, because we want to explain horror in like terms of what we're used to, which is like the slasher stuff. Even though there's probably horror in like every single movie other than like comedies, you know. That's
See,
what
I
I'm trying
think
to say.
horror has like back in the day, it was a very like definitive genre. Like in the 80s, especially, like you knew what a horror movie was. Like we had monsters, we had slashers. Nowadays, it kind of divulges more into like these new like art house style, like elevated horror
Oh,
films
cut
that
out.
are more
For me.
cut out for
more
me
like
too.
critically
Okay.
acclaimed.
So
you know,
now
that
what we're trying
they-
to say, I think, is it divulges
Oh,
into.
could you
he's
hear
back.
anything I just said? Wait, can you hear me? Oh,
No.
where did I cut
Nope.
off? 'Cause I was
You
just
cut
on, like-
out.
No, we can hear you.
Oh,
Your
okay,
stream just
okay.
cut
Well,
off.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I
your
was
stream
saying,
cut
like-
out.
You were saying that the.
Continue. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I thought you were saying
But
something.
like I said, it was like a definitive genre back then. But like these new like art house like elevated horror movies are more like critically acclaimed and like to a wider array of audiences, and it takes on a more like psychological type horror, like with films like, let's say, The Witch, Hereditary. Like there's like Midsummer. We have all these like different Lighthouse, stuff like that. There's interpretations of horror, but like a lot of it was like psychological, you know, like, and I guess that's where we find that intrigue and like that fear from, like fear, you know, like out of these different type of things. Like it's not really a subjective, like, oh, okay, well, like that guy's killing people and there's a lot of blood, so like it's horror, but like there's more now. We're divulging into like the psychological aspect of like these kind of horror films, you know. So that's just what I would say. Like there's
Yeah. And I think the movie has to try to like
Yeah.
make you fear it a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Something like Blade Runner isn't a horror film.
What about something like
No.
Seven?
I don't know.
We need a whole episode for just this topic.
I would say Seven is like a low grade horror movie. Like low grade, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other serial killer movies, like the Zodiac. Is Zodiac a horror movie?
No, but Zodiac is also more of a police procedural, you know? Like it's more about that as opposed to like Seven, which has like this whole like religious aspect to it and like this whole like other sort of, I don't know, this whole other sort of angle that's trying to take.
I don't know.
Because I was thinking about that one. I was like, that's an interesting one. You know.
Yeah. I can't say yes or no. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with Seven living in its own little world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
but
I think of like another serial killer movie, like okay, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Uh-huh.
But that's like unabashedly a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like no, like you can't see that and be like, oh, that's a thriller. You know, it's really strictly the whole point of it is to show you like there's some fucked up people living next to you, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
you know?
But like slasher movies are essentially serial killer movies. You know.
Yeah, they're just told in a different way than Zodiac and Henry.
There's also
That's my thing. Yeah, because like
the house that
what,
Jack
Andy?
built. I guess you could use as an example as well. Would you see that as a horror movie?
I don't know. I don't know. I get a very different feel from. It's because the house Jack built. Again, it's another movie that lives on its own. Have you seen it, Nick?
I have not.
Okay, so like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. When I watch that, I feel disgusting. Like I feel dirty. I feel like I've just like been dragged to the depths of like the worst of people. You know, the house that Jack built. It feels like it's trying to be funny at points, and it's like trying to make a statement, and it doesn't feel like it's actually trying to like make you fearful. It's just mostly trying to like it's like poke fun at things. And he's mostly poking fun at himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't consider that movie a horror film. It's just the feeling it gives off. It's about a serial killer, but it's done for very different reasons than something like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. And that's I'm talking to Andy specifically because he's the only one here that's watched House of Jacksonville besides me.
Yeah. Because I you know, also like something like Saw, like Saw. I'm pretty sure James Wan was like really influenced by like a movie like Seven when he was making Saw.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't know. Yeah. But I think we could all agree that if a movie is distinctly trying to elicit fear, then it's a horror movie.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So that's what we're working off of for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
The movie's trying to elicit fear. It's a horror film.
Mm-hmm. And it's, I mean, it's kind of rough, but like it's one of those like, you know it when you see it type things, you know?
Yeah. I guess the biggest issue is like some of us see different things.
Yeah.
Andy looking at you. But yeah, I mean that's the best until we get like really into the nitty gritty of like trying to deconstruct every little thing about horror.
Yeah.
Which could take forever and it just gets like tedious.
Yeah. And I haven't seen enough, honestly, to really do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. That's where we're at. Okay, so yeah, it elicits fear.
I'm glad we cleared this up.
Google
I'm glad
search,
we understand. Yeah, there we go.
Nah, yeah.
Well, no, I is it really that easy just to
kidding.
Google it?
Yeah, look, Google
It'll
what is horror.
It's fear out of an audience or whatever, you know. That's the layman's
I would assume
term.
there'd be like web pages where it's like divulging into blah 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 blah, and you have to have this and that, and just a bunch of baloney. Is horror a bad word? That's one of the things that popped up for me. Oh, I see it now. And it says for entertainment purposes. I don't know why it puts that at the end of that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I thought it was going to be a longer discussion than that, but it's chill. We got a shorter episode than usual this time. Thank you guys for coming. Adrian has to leave early. Now I have to leave. I got to go do homework.
Okay.
Andy, I'm sorry, dude.
Thank you for joining, Andy.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be on next week, depending on if you answer my text or not. Nick, thank you. Thank you for joining as well as always, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, I'm not entirely sure what we're doing yet, but we will figure it out and post it on our socials. Make sure to follow Andy at
Rambunctious Raccoon on Twitter.
There you go. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Rambunctious Raccoon, Andy.
So this is my entertainment outlet where I just talk about a lot of pop culture in regards to film, TV, movies, which was the same thing as film, sports, everything pretty much. Just everything pop culture. I want to talk about it. I want you to talk back to me about it, and that is what I'm doing. And we are going to be currently working on a podcast for that as well, a companion one called The Trash Pack, which I would like to have both of y'all on as well. And once that gets completed, it should
cool.
be out sometime soon. We're working on that, and just give the page a follow. And as always, support. I would appreciate it a lot.
What's it? What's the handle again?
Actually, my handle is different. I have to change
Rambunctious
that.
Raccoon.
So yeah, because
I was just
I
gonna say,
did the
like-
rebrand thing, but I have not changed my handle yet, so it's still Night Owl. So
Yeah.
I will
Night
send
Owl
it to Memo, and
STU.
you can put it in the video afterwards or something. So
Yeah. I mean, but if you look up
Yeah, it
Rambunctious
should.
Raccoon, it should still pop up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like the name,
I just did it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll put it in the
sure.
handle. I'll put it in there too. Send it to me. But yeah, cool, man. Make sure to follow him and stick in tune for the Trash
that's
Pack.
us.
Yeah, and then we should have another podcast coming out soon. We have a wrestling one coming out. We got streams, and we got a bunch of shorts that hopefully will come out near the end of this month.
Hopefully.
It's always a hopeful when it comes to filming short films. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Drop a like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit us up if you have any recommendations for horror week or horror month. Sorry. Let us know what you thought. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.